Let's look at filtering and sorting in Google Ads. Very useful techniques that you'll be using whenever you're viewing reports. So here we're in the keywords report, and I have my data in order by impression, showing the highest impression keywords first. And I can change the order of this by clicking on the top of that column. You'll see the little arrow changes from down to up, and I'm now seeing the ones with the fewest. Some of these keywords have had 0 impressions, and one of them in this date range of the last few months has had several thousand. There are other columns that I might want to order by. For example, if I want to see the highest click-through rate keywords, or if I want to see those with the highest to lowest quality score. Now let's talk about filtering. We can take the data in any report and filter it to choose which specific data we want to see out of these, say, thousands of keywords on an account. Maybe we want to only find those with a high or a low quality score, or the ones that have had a certain number of impressions or more, or a certain click-through rate or below. And this is how we do it. First, it's important to notice that there are several filters that are by default on most reports. So here we have campaign status enabled and ad group status enabled. So we're only seeing ads that are currently active on the account in currently active campaigns. And depending on which report you're in, you may see another filter down here. In this case, that we're only looking at keywords, because we're in the keywords report, that are currently enabled. I can change these. So for each of these options, whether it's campaign, ad group, or ad or keyword, I can choose just the ones that are currently enabled, or all of them, or ones that are enabled or paused. The reason for doing that would usually be if I want to compare historical data, or if I want to include within this date range campaigns or ads or keywords that have since been paused or removed. You have an icon here in blue, which shows you which filters are currently active. Really important this, because you can forget which filters you've gone on, and when you come back to your account, it's likely they are still enabled. You may have to remove them or change them in order to see all of your data. It's quite a common mistake to make in Google Ads to not realize you've left a filter on. We click on this link here to add a filter, and we can see filters we've recently applied and use them again. We can see a list of filters that we've saved to use later, and then we can search for specific statistics and metrics. So for example, if I want to filter by the number of clicks or the click-through rate, I can find them in this performance section. If I want to search by quality score, I can filter for quality score or various other statistics in there. However, that requires you to know where everything is listed. It's sometimes easier, if you know the name of the statistic, to just type CTR if it's click-through rate. You have to know your abbreviations though. By conversions, you can start typing in CONVE, and then you can filter by conversions. Or in this case, I'm going to type a Q because I want to find out which keywords on this account have got low quality scores, and I choose that. Generally, using very similar options. So I can search for more than or equals to, is not equal to, is less than, or is less than or equal. Now, in this case, quality scores, very important on an ad grant account to keep your quality scores high. So I want to find every quality score on this account that's below 5. So I'll change that symbol to less than, and type the number 5 in here. I'm not going to tick this box. I'm not interested in keywords that don't have a quality score. And I apply that. You wait a few seconds. Let's see how many we have. We have 14 keywords here, which are low quality. Now, if you've added the right columns, you can get additional information here. So I'm seeing that the quality score is 4 or 3. There's no 1s or 2s, fortunately. And I can see why as well, because I've got columns here for landing page experience and ad relevance. It's quite clear from this that the landing page is the problem. It's below average every single time, whereas my ad relevance, which is the ads I've written, are above average or average every time, with none below average. So I can now analyze the problem. And the problem, I think, is that I'm pointing ads at the wrong pages. So a keyword for, say, life skills or life skills training, which are very important keywords. They're probably the most important keywords for this particular nonprofit. They're pointing at the wrong pages. So I could go in, change the ad, find a more appropriate page, or see what the problem with the page is and fix it. But if I didn't know how to filter, I wouldn't have been able to find this data in the first place to make those corrections. Let's show you a couple more filters. I'll remove that one. See here, it's now saying that there are 2 filters applied. I'll remove this one. Now says there's 1. I'll add another filter. I want to find out all the keywords on this account which have a click-through rate that is below, let's say 6. I noticed the click-through rate for the account as a whole is 10.52. So let's do that again. Click-through rate less than, has fewer options for this, 6%. But I don't really care if a keyword has got a low click-through rate if it's not actually getting a lot of impressions. So I could do one of 2 things. I could now sort, having filtered, I could sort the column by impressions. And now on this list at the top, I see the ones that are a problem. The ones that are not just low click-through rate, but are also high impression. These are bringing the average down. So these ones I might want to fix. I might want to look at the ads, figure out why there's a low click-through rate, figure out whether they're really relevant to the keyword, and see if I can fix this in some way. Maybe I need to add more extensions. There are various ways to fix low click-through rate. But the other thing I could have done was simply add a filter. So I could have added a filter here for impressions. And this time choose more than. And within this date range, of course, the number of impressions will vary massively depending on whether you've chosen a 1-month date range or a 6-month. But this is looking at about 3 months worth of data. So I only want to find out low click-through rate keywords that have had more than 200 impressions in this time range. And here we go. 5 keywords. I'm going to remove that. Let's do another one. What I want to show you here is how to find keywords that convert. These are the most important ones on the account if they're getting the results. So let's find out which they are. So I only want to find conversions above 0. Now this will tell me keywords that have led to a conversion in the last few months. Let's do something else. Let's find out which keywords led to conversions over the last few months. We have a date range here covering a period of several months. So if I type in conversions as my statistic, and I only want any keyword that is converted, which means it should be more than 0. Not many options on here. And I apply that, I now have a list of every keyword that converted. But maybe it would be more useful to put this in order by the column for conversions. So I click at the top of that column for conversions, and here we go. I find out that life skills curriculum has led to 24 conversions. So that's fairly impressive. Curriculum lessons has led to 18.5 conversions. And if I want to find out specifically what those conversions are, I can use the segment icon up here and segment by conversion action. And under each keyword, I will now find listed the specific conversions that happened. So I find that for the first keyword, life skills curriculum, that it was forms being submitted and some files being downloaded, 11 forms and 13 files. For curriculum lessons, there's a purchase. It's actually led to a sale. They're selling training materials, and it's led to 2 sales. And I can see the conversions column here says 2. And if I scroll over to the conversion value, I can find out how much money they actually got in revenue from that. So a combination of filtering, sorting, and segmenting enables you to get very specific information. Now, there's a little trick here as well. What if I've done something more complicated, like I've got conversions more than 0? What if I add another one here? Let's say I'm interested in the click-through rate again. So I'm checking that we've had conversions and the click-through rate was more than 10%. What I can do now, over on the right, is save. And I can add this to my saved filters. So I click to save. I'll call it conversions more than 0 and click-through rate more than 10%. Should be something that's meaningful to me next time I come by. And from now on, I'll clear those filters. Next time I go to add a filter, and from now on, saved filters is here. Conversions is more than 0 and click-through rate is more than 10. So after you've been using Google Ads for a while, you know what data you need and you know how you need to filter for it. You can save these and save yourself some time.